So it started off as a 10-year-old boy who used to wake up early in the morning together with his siblings and go from one house to the next, selling delicacies that his mom used to prepare for the sale. Now, if we didn't make a sale, this simply meant that we wouldn't have food for that evening. So we know what it feels like to live in poverty. We know what it feels like to study with candlelight, with a candle burning that small and you're trying to do your homework. We know what it feels like not to use a jersey on a cold day, or even shoes if it's raining. We've been there. Now luckily for us, back then the schools used to provide sandwiches for us. So we were ever grateful and thankful that we had something to put into our tummies. Now, forward wind, 6, 7 years later, I became a PA. Yes, personal assistant? Not at all, that wasn't my upgrade. I became a petrol attendant, aka Bowser boy. It wasn't an easy job, but getting 5 cents tip and 10 cents tip was good enough for me to work those hours, because it really did mean a lot to us. Okay, so we could help the family together with my siblings. Forward wind 2 more years, it's my metric year. And everybody knows Nolan as this guy with so much of confidence, this guy that's bright and intelligent, etc. So I study hard, I'm working my ass off towards my exams, and I know I got this. I seriously got this. I know that I'm going to pass this. Come end of the year, we get the paper, and I'm scrummaging through this paper. I'm looking for my name, and it's not there. Now this could only mean one thing. It means I've failed if your name doesn't appear. I contacted the school. Do you guys have this right? Because I'm 100% sure I have passed my metric. No, I'm sorry, you have failed. My heart went cold. I went into a state of depression to the point where I attempted to take my life. But I don't know whether I was looking for attention or whether I was so depressed that I just wanted to give up and end it all. But I realized at the point nobody cared, because everybody had their own problems to worry about. So why must they bother about Nolan? So I came out of it, I managed to survive it. God didn't want me at the time. That was very visible to me. It wasn't my time at all. And you know, I believed in something always, that for every negative there has to be a positive. And lo and behold, that same year that I failed my metric, I had a call from a company called Lipton Tea, where they were looking for people to come and start work. I grabbed this with open arms because I knew what a big difference this is going to make. And the job was a packer and a sweeper. So I had a little machine that I used to pack Royco soup into these boxes. I used to mop around it, sweep around it, and do this packing. I was so grateful to get that job. I was earning, I think it was like 247 Rand a week, which meant a lot back then. So I did the job. And for about 2 years, I did it, and I realized, Nolan, is this where you want to be? Is this your life? Packing, sweeping. And I said to myself, no, I'm not cut out for this. It helped me along the way, but I can do much better. So I decided to work 12-hour shifts, funded my own studies, ending up getting a purchasing management diploma and a production management diploma. All because it was the only way I could climb up the ladder at Unifoods, which is now Unilever. So I did that. I moved into a planner role, and in the year 2000, I was lucky enough to be promoted as a technical engineering buyer at Unilever in Boksburg. Now here comes the key to this whole thing. Imagine leaving a small little town like Pietermaritzburg, as people call it, Sleepy Hollow, and moving to a big city like Johannesburg. I did it. I accepted this job not knowing where I was going to stay, not knowing how I was going to go to work, nothing. I just left it in God's hands that everything will happen. The universe will make this happen for me. So I took on the job. For the first 3 months, I stayed at a police flat with a friend, not as a prisoner, but as a friend. And I worked myself in Unilever. I was there for about just under 2 years. The one day I was walking home, and I got this major slap on my face. It was my mind that was slapping me and basically saying, hang on, you've been involved in SAP since the inception in South Africa, which is 1993, late 1993. Why don't you pursue a career in SAP? And I did that, and it wasn't easy at all because nobody was wanting to fund my academy fee, which was 56,000 Rand. So I decided again, let me set myself a goal of 6 months into the future to write my exams. It costed me 2,300 Rand. I studied from a city, late night, Sima can vouch for that, studied to 2-3 in the morning. Eventually I went and wrote the exam. On the day of the exam, everything was done on the computer. Type in all my answers. Now I'm scared now to press the enter button because it's going to give me my results. So the 1989 story of failing metric was in my mind. So something pushed me and said, hit the enter button. I did that. And I see this big green writing come in front of me. You have passed. So, you know, it was such a privilege to then be called a SAP consultant. And if you guys know about SAP, you don't get a certificate, or well, you do get a certificate, but furthermore, you get something that looks like a bank card that has your certification number on it. And it means you can go anywhere in the world and work as a SAP consultant. So I took on that. I went into consulting. I did a lot of contract work, etc. It allowed me to travel the world. I visited, in that space of time, most probably close to 30 different countries. I loved the travel. It really was great. But the one thing I was forgetting at the back of my mind was that I was neglecting my family. And it was hurting my family life. So I eventually, towards the end part of contracting, I decided to contract in South Africa only, which I did. Come the year 2015, the IT market takes a major slump, which means I'm unemployed. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was unemployed for 2 years. All my savings was used up. I had 0 cents to my bank account, nothing in my pocket. Here's the difference though. I had fallen hard, I was on my back, but there was one thing I was doing, is keeping my faith, being positive and looking up at God. I never stopped praying, not one day. I wondered why God failed me, but I still continued to pray. So, for 2 years, that's how my life was. Until a friend of mine from STWN called me and said that, you know what, we know you've done work for us before. We'd like to have you back. Man, my heart was full of joy. Tears of joy were just streaming down, and I phoned him and I said, you know what, hey, I got a job. And I accepted this job. I stayed with them up until June of 2019 this year, when I decided to exit the corporate world and follow my passion. And that passion was Straight Talk with Nolan. I've been doing this for the last 5 years. I've been thinking about it, but I haven't been taking the action towards it because I guess there was some type of fear in me. And now I've had the guts to launch Straight Talk with Nolan, and that's why all of you are here today, to help me, support me. So thank you very, very much for it. Why am I telling you about my journey? I know some of you may say, do I really need to know this? But it's because of important reasons. When I had fallen on my back, believe me, I had no friends. My friends had dispersed. I was like the plague. Nobody wanted to know me. My family stood by me. No friends, nothing at all. So that's the one lesson I learned. Through hard times, your family is your #1 priority, no matter what. Secondly, this journey had taught me how to fix my mind. I could have given up at any time. If you look, or if you drive into Soweto, for example, and you look at the people there, the guys are giving up on life. There is no zest for life anymore. They just want to give up because there's nobody coming to them and holding their hands and guiding them and telling them, hey, you can do better with your life. Just change your mindset. I can teach you how to change your mindset. I can teach you how to be a positive person. I've lived that journey. I've been through it. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. And all I want to do now is share my knowledge with the rest of South Africa. I want to help uplift this nation. I want to help build this nation.